Three kinds of civilization. Man's activities change endlessly and match with one of the three lives. Which life endures the most and is most preferred becomes the basis of life's activities. The basic activities of a community or a nation constitute a specific and distinct civilization. There are three kinds of civilization related to the three small worlds in man. They create three kinds of happiness and come from three original causes: Tao's cause, philosophy, and science and technology. There is rarely any civilization that is based on only the material life or only the sentimental, moral, and intellectual life, or only the spiritual life. Usually, it is a combination of lives such as spiritual life and moral, intellectual life, sentimental, moral, intellectual life, and material life. Material life prevailing and other lives or distinctively material life. 1. Material civilization. Belonging to the material life, it satisfies sensual pleasures and desires. The creation of the mind serves sensual pleasures of the body. It brings science and technology into being. Technology is the result of the cause and the mind, without intervention of the heart. Thanks to these creations, man's mind further develops. The flesh body enjoys more comforts, convenience, and facilities. But the material civilization lacks the intervention by the heart. Therefore, it is deficient of virtues and Tao's characters. 2. Moral civilization. The moral civilization belongs to the moral and intellectual life. Philosophies and good systems of thought have been created by the heart and the mind, in which many virtues are taught and practiced so that man enjoys happiness in the heart. In virtues, there are fortune's characters. These two characters correspond with those in the supernatural and natural worlds. For this effect, the moral civilization lasts long. Any community or nation that lives with this civilization or the moral life, their heart enjoys peace, their flesh body takes pleasure in good fortunes and benefits, and few disasters occur in their area. There is no serious conflict or struggle for interest. Wicked and cruel characters lose their supremacy, and violence vanishes. 3. The spiritual civilization. The civilization is constituted by the spiritual life of a community or a nation. On this planet, no nation has attained a completely spiritual civilization. Only some communities spend their life in spiritual manner or in a combination of spiritual life and sentimental, moral life. All that belongs to the spiritual life is Tao's cause. It comes from the supermind and the supermind, in which Tao's characters exist. Man brings these characters into his activities in order to direct his soul towards enjoying spiritual and mental ecstasy. This life gets no more struggle for material possessions, no more wickedness, evilness, and cruelty. All that remains in life is only the intelligence of the mind. It animates in an extreme rapture of the cosmic character in man's character. Education. Educating a person is not only to give him instructions about the knowledge of a certain branch or profession, nor increase the progress of those branches and professions. It must be and must create a perfect person with three spheres of activities: bodily sphere, body; sentimental and moral sphere, heart; and spiritual sphere, mind. The real effect of a perfect education is the evolution, not the progress in the amount of knowledge. Evolution is a motive power that stimulates one to learn and teach himself about what have happened in his three small worlds and his small cosmos, as well as about those that happen in the three outer worlds. As a result of a delightful learning way, his life keeps renewing endlessly. His heart is always in an optimistic state, and all of his miraculous organs keep developing. The progress of knowledge, however, has a reverse effect. If it has no renewal that corresponds with the rate of progress of the mind, one's life may soon become boring. One gets tired and loses the direction for evolution. Therefore, for the sake of evolution, education programs must be suitable to each class of age, fitting in exactly the time for ascendant transmutation of each small world, the body, the heart, the mind, the supermind, the supermind, and the supermind. Moreover, effective methods should be provided to excite the creation that is filled with Tao and virtues and appropriate to one's capability, talent, or genius. The reason for the classification of capability, talent, or genius is the dissimilar levels of mind of different individuals. Different minds contain different amounts of knowledge. Some know very well about the natural world, but get few experiences in the two other worlds. Some others know clearly the two worlds, but remain far from being acquainted with the third world. Generally, the mind gets the experience and knowledge of the world in which it animates. The beauty and goodness of education is to conduct man's heart and mind to righteousness, peace, and happiness. The genuine education is to evolve man's heart and mind so that man can understand and enjoy the supernatural and supernatural beauties right within his own existence. Why should education be corrected? Because there are deficiencies, faults, and mistakes in the present education. Why do those things exist? From the primitive stage, man has lived untruthfully to himself. If man had lived with the genuine truth, nobody would have needed to rectify himself. One would have had to study and evolve only. This is the deficiency of education in families and the education sector in the world today. The present education methods focus only on two fields, the body and the mind. Regarding the body, the education aims to develop the abilities of the 5 natural sense organs, but with disproportionate focus on training strength of muscles through sports, gymnastics, and bodily exercise in general. Regarding the mind, the education is keen on developing the capability of memory about physical rules, improving methods of reasoning, and increasing the knowledge acquired by mankind. But no science aims to develop the heart. The present psychologists have only the quality to learn and study the feelings, the changes of feelings, the state of the heart that is related to the state of the mind, without teaching how to live truly with oneself and how to appreciate the beauties of virtues and Tao's characters of the supernatural and supernatural worlds in man. Besides the deficiency in the development of the marvelousness and miraculousness of the heart, there is another cause, the modernization of industry. Industry develops man's mind, especially the modernization of industry gives much more progress to man's mind, but this development connects closely to techniques. In reality, the mind attaches too much to technique, and there is almost no time left for the family activities and feelings of relatives. Even though the mind acquires brightness in technology, it turns the heart into mechanical heart. The heart is mechanized. On the contrary, If the mind can discover the beauty of feelings, it will become intelligent, and at the same time, it makes the practice and teaching of morals more preponderant. In the world, many countries are on the way of modernizing their industry, a course to which man's life is increasingly tied up. Being more engaged in mechanics, electronics, techniques, man's heart gradually loses the beauty of feelings and a number of virtues related to love, kindness, and charitable nature. Only man can appreciate the beauty and goodness of sound and healthy sensations, feelings, virtues, and town's characters. Machines cannot. Nowadays, plenty of extraordinary and exceptional machines have been created and manufactured, but on the contrary, morals, philosophies, and town scores decline perceptibly. Almost everywhere, people lack the sublime values of philosophies and town scores. Machines are a good means providing comforts and facilities, but they cannot create the sublimity and outstanding character of the moral and spiritual lives. Only man's heart and mind can. Nowadays, the brightness of the vulgar mind increases greatly, but human electric originated by virtues is little, and the light created by town's characters is even less. For this reason, mankind almost always encounters disasters and sudden great misfortunes. Age and education. Evolution is the purpose of education. It is not limited by time and space. To average people, education must be continuous so as to last till the end of their life. But to talented and virtuous people, or the ones endowed with extraordinary intellect, education will be much easier, for they themselves can learn from the heart, the conscience, and the mind. As such, the evolution will become automatic and evident. The key persons responsible for teaching children are their parents. The one that forms the temper of the child is his mother when she is pregnant. The difference in personalities of children in the same family comes from the different tempers of the mother in her time of pregnancy. Although coming from the same parents, the children differ from each other in terms of temper and character. And the difference of the state of the heart leads them to choose different professions. The period of nourishing and educating of the unborn young is the most important. Together with the time the child is still living in the family, this period determines the most part of the future of the child. Besides the nurture of the flesh body of the unborn young, the mother has to form in advance the sentimental, moral, and intellectual life and the spiritual life of the baby. Nurturing the body of the unborn baby, the mother ought to take nutritive foods only and avoid strong, pungent, and acrid spices and tastes, especially the foods and drinks that contain toxic substances, because these substances will be left in the blood and in the future will influence the child, making him desire for sensual pleasures and copulation. He will be more likely to be lured into moral corruption and debasement. In forming the sentimental, moral, and intellectual life for the unborn baby, the mother should refrain from sleeping more than her health conditions needs. If the mother sleeps too much, the mind of the child will not be vigilant or intelligent. If the mother stays awake and works with a bright and alert mind, the child will be intelligent. Moreover, if the mother-to-be is filled with elated and joyful feelings, virtues, and especially with love, her child will become a genuine talent, having both talent and virtues. On the contrary, if the pregnant woman acts with the cleverness of mind but a wicked evil, or cruel heart, the child will become a talented, intelligent person but lacks virtues. As such, he may bring more harm than service to the society. Thanks to the virtues created by the mother, these genuine talents often get good luck in their career. In addition, they can keep away from many diseases and dangers that would otherwise injure their body seriously. Their talent is formed by the moral and intellectual life and the spiritual life of the mother in the time of pregnancy. If the mind of the mother in this period is extremely bright and clever, and if there is the animation of virtues and Tao's characters, especially the Tao of love, kindness, and charitable nature, the supernatural character and the supermind of the talent will be constituted. In the purpose of educating a person, if we do not identify thoroughly his capability of learning and understanding, as well as his creative power, the task of education will hardly obtain desired effect. Education is related to 3 degrees of learning and performance: capability, talent, and genius. Capability. The ones who have the capability can perform precisely in accordance with the functions of the sense organs, the body, and the limbs. This class of people can learn and carry out the occupations that suit many functions of the 5 natural sense organs, body, and limbs. Talent. Talented people can combine and realize their thoughts of the heart and mind through many functions of the sense organs, body, and limbs at the same time. Besides the realization, performance, talented people also engender imitation and creation. Talented people imitate by following a model or copy the actions, but genuinely talented people only create. The genuinely talented people and talented people have both talents and capabilities. These people use their body as a means to evolve their moral and intellectual life. They consider moral and intellectual values higher than material worth and own many foreknowledge when their supermind operates. Regarding the genuinely talented people, their inventions are produced through the contact between their super sense organs and the cosmic supernatural world, i.e., through the unification of their supernatural small world and the supernatural cosmic world in their electric body. The inventions usually happen in their dream vision with vivid supernatural images or when their heart and mind are extremely calm and quiet. Genius. Geniuses are the most evolved people who get the highest mental ability, live the spiritual life, and carry out the works through the moral and intellectual life. They realize the cause of creation from the character and the mind, then perform the works with functions of the sense organs, body, and limbs. Geniuses are endowed with all talents and capabilities. It is not limited by age. Genius may appear in childhood or in mature and old age when the spiritual life has become active. A child prodigy is a young genius in childhood or in adolescent period. If his life afterwards is contaminated by aspects of the material life, he will turn into a genuinely talented person or a talented person. The child prodigy does not learn about creation and invention from others. He self-educates from his own life. He studies from the cosmos that exists right in his character and mind. The mature and old-aged genius studies everything in his own genuine heart, character, and mind, i.e., he studies all of the supernatural and supernatural phenomena that have been perceived, recorded, and stored in his memory. Each class of age gets an appropriate way of learning. Each learning stage is related to the development of each age class. Depending on the method of education, each small world in a person can be developed more or less. The extending range and animation of each small world correspond with the extending range of the related cosmic world. The learning degrees are classified as primary, secondary, higher education, and finally, endless learning. Primary education. Normally, learners must use the 5 sense organs to learn and memorize. This way of learning is based on the visual audio method or in a visible representation. For example, to learn a lesson, kids must read aloud the words. Secondary education. Students use their heart in substitution for the sense organs. This is the supervisible learning way. Higher education. Learners use their mind to know and understand the meaning of something, then summarize, analyze, and find solution. They will add more ideas to create. This is the invisible learning way. Endless learning. Practitioners use the radiation of the light of their mind, supermind, and supermind that makes it thoroughly in the cosmic course to the treasure of cosmic knowledge which has been stored in the cosmic light. They do not use visible, supervisible, or invisible means to learn. This is the way of endless learning. The education programs and classes of age. Besides the existing programs, students need to train in all 3 spheres of activities: body, heart, mind. The education program must follow the order of knowledge from outside to inside, i.e., one should instruct first the knowledge through cognition, perception, from the outside by way of the 5 natural sense organs and the mind, then the fundamental activities of the super sense organs, the heart and the mind, and finally the activities of the sacred sense and the supermind. The 3 spheres of activities corresponding to the teaching of behaviors among people are morals, philosophies, and Tao scores. After that, the knowledge to be taught can be extended into the 3 supernatural, and supernatural worlds for practical use and creation. Regarding young children, morals should be taught. Adolescents, philosophies should be taught, and adults, Tao scores. Teaching morals is to explain and show them how to know and discern between right and wrong, just and unjust, good and bad, etc., in the way of living. This way of living originates good customs and habits. Children should be taught the way of behaving in family and in society. Regarding philosophies, teaching and giving students reasons for virtues, instructing young people to practice and perform customarily these virtues towards others. Teaching Tao's course is to explain the characters and the nature of heaven and earth, cosmic nature, in man's life, to teach people about the relationship between cosmos and man. The way of teaching must be explaining theory, practicing, giving instruction to succeed in reality, and discerning the effect through self-experience. Nowadays, a great deal of education programs worldwide aim to teach people many things about external knowledge instead of the inner side and the invisible sphere of activities. The intelligence mind develops and exceeds adequate limits, but morals, virtues, and Taos decline considerably. Consequently, wickedness, evilness, and cruelty increase, drawing in violence to deal with each other, and thus people cannot live in peace. In summary, today's education forms only capabilities and talents, but gives poor attention to training and forming the characters of Tao and virtues. Moreover, competitions are organized frequently. Though there are progresses in talents and intelligence, competitions lead man to competitive spirit, contradictoriness, and disunion rather than sincere cooperation and service for others. In countries and regions where the material life is advanced, families and schools must pay more attention to their children and students, for one naturally desires for and takes pleasure in sensations. Nowadays, there are many ways and procedures that give sensual pleasures and increase the pleasant degree of sensations, thus attracting, infatuating, and bewitching the heart and the mind of man, misleading people into corruption quickly. If the heart and the mind are bewitched by sensual pleasures, the two invisible organs lose their control and become servants for sensual pleasures. They are deprived of the ability to observe oneself, and the conscience can hardly be present. For this reason, young people are more likely to be driven into sins and faults. Besides the knowledge invented or produced by others, one has to study one's inner activities and the animations of one's three small worlds in order to evolve himself. If not, one will get bored. Young people should begin to learn about all that appear in their visible, natural, small world and cosmic world. All these things and matters are related to the body. They are fortunes and misfortunes, and the laws of birth and death, of production and destruction, of the five basic elements, and of the decrease and decrease of the five basic elements, the law of animations and sacred nature of liquid, chi, electric, and light. Middle-aged people must live with the supernatural world. They have to learn what happened in the inner heart, virtues, and the laws of the two supernatural small and cosmic worlds, which are the laws of birth and longevity, of the animation without fluctuation, and of the perpetual birth without end. For example, love for mankind. This love is a virtue. It animates without fluctuating. On the contrary, feelings fluctuate, thus increase and decrease. If the animation of a virtue lasts long, it increases the intensity of the sacredness. From one's middle age to the death of the flesh body, it is necessary for man to act in the supernatural world. He has to learn Tao, Tao's cause, Tao's characters, and how to apply virtues and fortunes in human activities. Learning Tao is to learn the laws of the two supernatural small and cosmic worlds, which are the laws of the ceaseless animation, the perpetual existence, the endless life, the descendant and ascendant transmutations of the sacred substances in man's life. Learning and practicing Tao's characters and Tao's cause in one's life is to live the spiritual life. To average people, the middle age is a favorable time for the development and evolution of the spiritual life. In normal conditions, each individual can learn and live according to his experience through the development of his three small worlds. To those who wish to serve mankind, they can begin to learn about fortunes, misfortunes, virtues, Tao, when their mind is able to comprehend thoroughly the causes, the logical cause, genuine cause, Tao's cause. Man's evolution is always necessary and absolutely essential. Following the mother's education towards her unborn baby, the family has the duty and obligation to form a sound heart for the child right from his childhood. This course is more important than the current education of knowledge and much more significant than the excessive nurture of the flesh body of young children. For that reason, children's way of thinking must be led to what is right, correct, and good. Right, correct, and good. Right, correct, and good deeds should be performed repeatedly when occasions come. And at the same time, responsible people should keep children away from contacting or communicating with bad images, ideas, and acts. A sound and good heart must first of all endure patiently pains and hardship of the flesh body and material constraints. It is an enduring, persevering, solid, but also calm, gentle heart, and finally, it has self-mastery. Every decision by parents needs to have an educational quality for children. Parents should meet such needs for their children that contain good tendency and that can develop their body, heart, and mind. Parents should not surrender to or satisfy the wrong, cruel, wicked, bad, or useless tendency of children, such as laziness, derision, boasting, and those that are uncivilized and corrupt. If those two standards are met in the way of educating children, then this result is guaranteed. The parents take good care of the children, love and cherish them in solemnity, with great responsibility, while the children respect and obey their parents, follow their guidance and commands with admiration and love. When children have got their self-mastery, parents encourage them, inspire them with courage and confidence to work on or train or practice the following. Regarding the body, developing the ability of the 5 natural sense organs and the limbs to an accurate degree. In other words, developing the natural habits of the sense organs and the limbs to a high capability. Sense plus the observing mind. Regarding the heart and the mind. A. Admitting the truth. If children learn to admit the truth, they will become brave and do not blame their faults or mistakes on others. Disavowal is the first bad attitude in denying the truth. It can engender a series of immoral habits such as deception, dishonesty, cunningness, selfishness, and depravity. All vices, wickedness, and evilness of mankind come from the refusal to acknowledge the truth than denial of truth. B. Living with genuine truth. If one lives with genuine truth, no more self-correction is needed, because in the truth there are already such virtues as fairness and love. Though the love is not yet expressed in deeds, if a child feels that love animating in his heart and lives that virtue, there are already fairness and truth in his behavior. One's way of living will develop freely and perfectly. C. The supernatural animates in the truth of the heart and the mind. Therefore, the one who lives with genuine truth is to live the supernature. The unification of the heart and the mind is the supernatural character. Regarding the mind. A. The mind that is developed by facts, phenomena, and data of the external natural world is the vulgar mind. B. The mind that is developed by supernatural and supernatural data becomes the supermind and the supermind.